Hello, my loves. Welcome to Grace Through Pain, a journey to hope. I am so hot right now, as you can see if you're watching. My glasses keep fogging up, but I can't see, so it's the glasses, it's not the glasses. I'm trying to cool things down as we dive in. I am in Martha's Vineyard. I come to Martha's Vineyard. I've been coming every August for the past, I think, a little over 10 years. And it's such a special, magical place. It's you could get to Europe faster and easier. It is a journey to get here. I think a lot of people say that they do it on purpose in terms of making it hard to get here so that it stays this special kind of, utopia. So I'm just grateful to be here again. But it's always a bittersweet time because in August of 2018, I was here on the island, and that is when I was diagnosed with MS. That is when I had my first MS attack. And so I want to just kind of reflect and talk about that today. I know that a lot of you have been following my journey, and I'm so grateful for that. And so some of you know this, my diagnosis story, but we have so many new folks that have found this podcast and found my Instagram page. I figured it would be helpful for me to reflect and take a beat and think about where things are at 6 years later. And I know that so many of us that face our MS anniversaries, there's a lot of feelings that we have as well. So I think that this kind of can help, everyone, for those that have heard my story and for those that haven't. So a lot of people with MS, it's really sad and it breaks my heart, but a lot of people with MS had symptoms that they couldn't get answers to. Doctors either didn't believe them, or they were told it was something else, or they couldn't figure out what it was. Tons of tests, but not the right tests, and misdiagnosis. Long roads. I think Selma Blair talked about being sick for maybe 4 or 5 years and not knowing what was wrong with her, and self-medicating with alcohol, and that making things worse, and until she finally got her MS diagnosis. And a lot of people I've read have felt, I guess, relief, for lack of a better word, of just finally having an answer, finally knowing, okay, I knew something was wrong with me. I finally now know, what it is, and I can now move into finding a plan and figuring it out. And so I think that maybe kind of softened the blow, or kind of cushioned the actual MS diagnosis, because so many people were just searching for answers. So to finally get an answer, that kind of took up more space. And then the realization of what MS is and how their life would change, that maybe came a little delayed and a little later. For me, though, I was a very healthy person. I had never been in the hospital before. I think the sickest I'd ever been was when I had chickenpox. I'd never, broken a limb. I had just never been sick, besides, a cold. Even the flu was never anything that I struggled with that, took me out for a really long time. I maybe would be sick for a day or two. So I didn't have any point of reference or concept of being sick, or what that would be like. I had started my fitness journey earlier in the year in 2018, and I'm so grateful that I did. Something, the universe, God just kind of spoke to me, and I wanted to just focus on my health. That really, it was in March of 2018 that I just was like, I want to be healthier and I want to invest in that. And so I found an amazing trainer, Mike T, Force Fitness, based out of Los Angeles, and he interviewed me. I was a mess. I had just gone to see Beyonce at Beychella, and saw him that following Monday with glitter still in my hair, uh, still probably hungover. I mean, I was a mess. And he's like, "You want to focus on your health? It doesn't look like that, but okay." And so he decided to take me on, and it was a very, very intense workout program, and it was working out 5 days a week, a lot of strength training and cardio. Really, I was starting to see my body transform. Really hard work, and I loved it. I've never been someone that really enjoyed exercise, and to go and work out for an hour and a half to 2 hours every day is just not me, and or was not me at the time. And I just loved it. I loved seeing how strong I was getting, and I think that played a large part in saving me for when I did have my MS attack, to not have as bad of symptoms or as bad of a regression when my body did decide to finally succumb to the lesions that were on my spinal cord. So I was, again, vacationing here in Martha's Vineyard and was working out because I was keeping consistent at this point. I loved working out. And I had been feeling a little numb and tingly in my hand and like the left side of, my left leg. And, I'm always on the go. I travel all the time, and I'm looking at my schedule right now, and it's another 3 cities before August is over. And I just was like, oh, I've been reading about compression socks. I need to kind of work on that. And, it's probably time for my primary care appointment. I'll mention it then, because it just wasn't something that I noticed it, but wasn't bothering me, too much. And so I was feeling that kind of numb and tingly during a harder part of my workout. But again, it passed, continued exercising, and then went upstairs to take a shower. As I got out of the shower, I felt, at the time, it was the worst pain I had felt. Unfortunately, I have been in more pain since then, but it was the most pain I had ever been in to that point, shooting down my arm. And I thought that maybe I was having a heart attack. But then I went completely numb and paralyzed on my left side, and wound up falling kind of onto my bed. And I cried out for my mom and my sister, who were downstairs and on the porch. And, it was a big house, one of those big old vacation houses here. And my voice was so strained because I was in so much pain. It was very strained. It was very weak. But my sister wound up actually hearing me, and she is who found me. And I was trying to crawl to the door to get their attention to see if they could be able to hear me. I went through a lot of, there's a lot of PTSD because I had lost one of my best friends suddenly just 2 years prior. And so I was still grieving and living with that trauma. And my thought instantly went to that I was dying because Ashley had left us very suddenly and with no real explanation. So there was just so much fear because my sister tells me that I had told her that I didn't want to die. and that I was scared. So my sister or my mom, I'm not sure who, and I have a previous episode of this show with my sister, and she talks about her experience in finding me, and she really kind of fills in the dots of just what I don't remember, and I think a lot of it I just kind of have blocked out or blacked out on, and so she filled in some details that I'm like, oh, that happened. I didn't realize that happened. So please, I will have that in the end credits if you want to hear this experience from her lens. But somehow an ambulance arrives. One of them calls an ambulance, and I still I'm not able to move. My pain isn't as high, and so I'm a little more kind of coherent and responsive, still very scared. They thought I had a stroke, possibly, but I wasn't having any other stroke symptoms. Like my face wasn't, slanted. My vision wasn't, I had vision. My speech wasn't slurred. And so they just weren't really sure, kind of what it could be. And so, Martha's Vineyard is a very small island outside of Massachusetts. So they did a video call into Boston Mass General, and it was decided that I needed to be medvaced to Boston and figure out what was going on because I was still unable to move the left side of my body. So my mom was with me. We are transported off of the island to Boston to Brigham and Women's, and an MRI is done. And there was a conversation about a spinal tap, but my MRI was so conclusive for multiple sclerosis, it was not needed. At the time, I had 3 lesions on my spinal cord and 19 lesions on my brain. And the lesion on my spinal cord was very inflamed. We talk about being lit up like a Christmas tree when you see your MRI, and that is what was causing my paralysis. And so when the nurse came in to tell me that I was being admitted and my test results were conclusive for MS, but someone from neurology would be by to walk me through that, I was so shocked because I didn't really know what MS was. I had heard of MS, but I think I thought it was, lupus or sickle cell. I wasn't sure, there was something in that realm, and just didn't really know what it was. And couldn't understand why I was being admitted because at this point I had regained feeling. And so I had felt relatively, normal. And it was an immediate getting me on Solomedrol, which is a steroid that I would be on for 3 days to calm my lesions down. And I was so confused. I was so scared. I just didn't understand. I couldn't process what was being said to me. I couldn't process because I was fine. I was healthy. How could there be all of these things on my brain and on my spine? How could that be possible? Because I was fine, right? I was fine. I'd never been sick. So how could this be? No one in my family had MS. We didn't have a history of autoimmune diseases. I believe I had one cousin with lupus. and it's a very distant cousin, like I don't know how you first cousin, third cousin, but it wasn't like a first cousin. It was like my mom's cousin, if that, whatever that. Now I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna like go down that rabbit hole of what cousin that is. So please, someone tell me so I don't have to. My mom's cousin. Um, so there was just, again, just this confusion that then turned into denial, because I had feeling back and I felt basically like myself for the most part. The numb and tinglies still continue to return, but not that kind of like massive attack, that had happened the morning of August 8th. And so I just was like, this isn't, this like can't really be it. And they're like, well, we're going to refer you to your doctor in LA. You need to make that appointment, do some more tests, kind of see. And so my thing was like, okay, well, maybe it's not really MS. I'm going to go do these other tests and, we'll see. And so there was just a lot of denial. I stayed in denial for almost 6 months. I was not on any treatment. I wasn't Googling anything, wasn't researching anything. I just wasn't dealing. And I started to get more sick. It's like a switch just like, flipped, where I was fine, or I thought I was fine. And then I wasn't. I was having these tremors. I was so tired. Which I can look back and see where I was experiencing fatigue, but didn't know that that's what it was. There's some photos of me, on set, sleeping any chance that I could get. But the joke was, my brand was Team No Sleep. And so that was just kind of the running joke, was I was tired because I was always running around. But I can see now that it was my body not being able to sustain. But I lost a lot of weight. I just kind of started slipping away, and my doctor at the time basically gave me the ultimatum and said that if I did not get on some sort of medicine, some sort of disease modifying therapy, I would no longer be under the care of the neurology department at Cedars-Sinai. And if I was going to choose to, not take, prescription medicine, that was my choice, but then I would no longer be under their care. And so that's when I really faced this. And it was March of 2019 where I finally started taking my DMT, which is Ocrevus. And so to be here today and think about just that time 6 years ago and where I'm at now, and it's so, again, it's just so bittersweet, because I'm immensely proud of myself. I mean, I think about the young woman that I was 6 years ago, who was so scared and felt so small and really didn't have like a voice, to today where that fear is still there. I think that fear will always be there, but I feel so much more emboldened and empowered, and I say what I need, and I participate and speak up for myself in these spaces with my healthcare providers. And so it's like, wow. I mean, I just look at that we're doing this podcast. I have a podcast. This community that you all have welcomed me into and supported me in with Marty's MS Life. I never dreamed that I would be one of the voices that is heard just so far and wide in this space when it comes to MS awareness and advocacy and disability awareness. And so I'm shook at that of where we are, because I just, you talk about getting, or people talk about getting called to do something, and I never really knew what that would be. I've heard it. A lot of people have talked about having a calling, to ministry, and a calling to the medical field, medical profession. And so I remember in late 2019, I was so frustrated because I wasn't seeing people that looked like me in this space. And I was like, I think I should be one of those people. I think I should start a YouTube channel. Why can't it be my voice? I want to talk to people. I want people to know they're not alone. I just felt MS, it's given me a purpose. It's given me a purpose that's larger than myself. And so I have so much gratitude for that, for all of the people that it's brought into my life. There's been so much good these past 6 years. And I try to stay there because the bad has been bad. I mean, for those of you that know, I had a brain surgery in 2020 for my trigeminal neuralgia that was not as successful as I wanted it to be. Still in a lot of pain, nerve blocks, so many procedures. As you know, currently, battling the loss of my vision. So holding space for both of those, all of it's true. The gratitude, the joy, the comfort, the pain, the grief, the fear, it's all true. The anger, the resentment, it's all there. And so all of those feelings, those are such big feelings. And so it's hard to carry them. It makes me feel crazy some days. It's so hard to carry all those feelings because it's so many feelings. And, I say a lot of times I have to laugh to keep from crying, and because I'll just spiral. And it's true because it's just so much. I'm filled with so much joy and so much gratitude. And I'm filled with so much grief and so much pain. And I'm so scared. I'm so scared, you guys. So I just want, for those of us that are approaching, our MS anniversary, or just in a reflective space, I just want you to have that reflection, have that time, give yourself that. And there doesn't have to be an answer or a summary or a wrap up to what your feelings are. Just feel the feelings. Let yourself feel them. Cry, Laugh. Remember the good times. Remember the good things. Remember all the amazing people that have come into your life. Mourn the ones that have left it. The ones that, maybe wanted to be there for you but couldn't. I want you to take some time for yourself to just feel those feelings. I hope you will this week, because I know I certainly am. And this anniversary, each anniversary's been different. Some anniversaries have been really, really low. Some have been kind of high. I'm like, oh, I'm on my baseline. This isn't so bad. Look at all I've achieved. Look at all I've done. I've had those anniversaries. This anniversary it's a little heavier. It is. I'm not at my baseline. I'm not feeling good. I'm really, really stressed. I'm really stressed. It feels like everything's just kind of like piling on. I'm trying to take some things away, take some things off. It all is kind of coming down to money, needing money, which is, I think, the case for a lot of us. Unfortunately, we need more resources. We need more money. And I wanted to say that here too, because I don't think, money makes people uncomfortable, and we don't really like to talk about it. But as much as I need a hug, as much as I need prayers, as much as I need someone to come sit with me and be with me and spend time with me, I need all those things. But I also need money. I need more money. I need to find more resources. I need that. So, and I know you do too. And it's vulnerable to say that out loud. But I wanted to say that here so that you can feel validated and that you can know it's okay to say that that's what you need. This is all about this episode more than any other episode. This is so much about giving yourself grace, because when I am at my MS anniversary and you're looking back at this journey, this painful journey, and it's this road to hope. I mean, that's what we're trying to get to. It's giving ourselves grace on this journey, on this path to hope, holding faith. And I want so much for you to give yourself that grace and know that you are on that path to hope and faith. And I'm right there with you. Until next time, guys.